And welcome to Mulligan Stew, the podcast, music, film, food, and wine. And all of that is coming your way. Next week, our guest will be Augie Meyer. He was the guy on piano with the Sir Douglas Quintet, worked with Doug Sahm, toured and plays with Bob Dylan, John Hammond, Tom Waits, everybody. Augie Meyer, lots of stories there. The Landreth brothers are back. Small Glories. We'll talk to Mary Gauthier, Harpoonis and the Axe Murderer, Con Brio, Donovan Woods, Dan Mangan, Lorena McKinnon, and in a couple of weeks, Robbie Robertson. They call Bobby Rush the king of the Chitlin Circuit. Chitlins are the inside of a pig that nobody was going to eat except the musicians who needed to eat, and that's all they were going to get paid. He goes back so far that he auditioned for Elmore James's band. And Elmore James said, "You can't get in here. You're too young." I think he was 12 or 13 at the time. But in order to get in for the audition, he lit 12 matches and blew them all out, and then took the black end of those matches and painted himself a mustache and put a hat on and snuck into the club. They didn't hire Elmore James, but they hired Bobby Rush. And then when Bobby Rush needed a band, he hired Elmore James for the band. Oh, man, that is Bobby Rush. It doesn't matter what you tell him, he's going to do it anyway. He is going to find a way to get along. He, for many, many, many years, played 200 shows a year. He's starting to cut down a bit. And actually, he doesn't have to play that much anymore, simply because there was a documentary made about his life, and it was very popular and seen by millions of people. And all of a sudden, he's got a name. He's got some marquee value to him. Bobby Rush is 86 years of age. He has recorded 394 songs in the last 67 years, including his latest, called Sittin' on Top of the Blues. It's his 26th studio album. As Bobby says, "I'm a blues man who's sitting on top of my game, proud of what I do, proud of who I am, and thankful for the people accepting me for who I am." This conversation took place at the Vancouver Island Music Festival backstage. But there came a moment in this interview that caught me. I was surprised. When I asked Bobby the question about his legacy, it took him forever to answer that question. I thought he was thinking about things, but he wasn't. He was holding himself in check because he was close to tears. That's how important that question was. Please enjoy this conversation with the king of the Chitlin Circuit, Bobby Rush. Bobby, welcome to this festival, which is, I'm looking at some of the stages here. There's some amazing musicians, amazing music being made. What do your ears pick up when you walk through the site? What do you hear? What pulls you?
I hear the love of people who love the music and begin to feel like I'm very welcome to the blues world that I didn't feel as a young man. I felt like I was a part of it, but I felt as a distant. Now I feel like I'm a part of it and I'm close up on it because the people begin to respect what I do and love what I'm doing and expect it and accept me for who I am.
Have you earned that?
Yes, I think I earned it. I think I won it, but then again, I'm so blessed. God have allowed me enough time at this 80-something years old to be around and see and learn from some mistakes I made in life, be around along to get Grammys and get awards because I've been up for Blues Award 29 times.
That's right.
And I won 18 of them. Been up for a Grammy 4 times, won 1. So that's a lot of time. And this is my 394 record. So I've been around the clock again. At the early in my life, it didn't seem like it was going into place, but I guess God have a place and time set for everything.
Tell me about you said you made some mistakes early on. Were some of them serious?
Yeah, I think I made a mistake. I didn't want anybody to manage me early in my career, but I think that was a mistake because I think the management could have taken me faster in places I couldn't take myself. But I didn't want anyone to control me. At that time, I think if someone would take me, that would have been signing my life away. Now I can kind of control it because now I'm big enough where I can make my deals in the management.
You said to the audience and Holger, thank you for letting me be myself. It was a little Sly Stone thing. I love that. But how long did it take you to figure out who it was you wanted to be?
I knew what I wanted to be and who I wanted to be as an early of my life, but it took me about 50 years to understand that I could be popular and make money with it. B.B. King told me about 25 years ago, just 25 years ago. So Bobby Royce said, I wish I could do what you're doing, man. You're going to be great in this life. You're going to make a lot of money. A lot of money and doing what I do free. You know, I would do what I do free because it wasn't, at the beginning, it wasn't about the money.
You do it for Chitlin.
Yeah, for Chitlins and the love of it. That's what it was about. I worked in many places, many nights where we get $2 or $3 and something to eat and some place to stay. That was it.
And you were sitting on top of the world.
I was sitting on top of the world. Now I'm on top of the blues. This new record, Sitting on Top of the Blues, it's drawn from sitting on top of the world. But sitting on top of the blues is not just the blues itself. I'm sitting on top of the game, my game.
Yeah.
I'm on top of what I should not do. You know, because I strive hard to do what I cannot do. Because what you can do, take care of yourself.
I wonder if the younger you would have survived this success.
No, I doubt it. I think I've been like any other young person who saw the opportunity and took it and went the wrong direction with it. So some of the mistakes I made turned out to be not mistake, because if you learn from a mistake, it's really not a mistake. Yeah. It's a stepping stone to what you should or should not do.
But you have to know that you made that mistake, and you have to...
That's why, see, you're right, because as a biblical study, when a man do wrong, if he know it, he can correct himself. Yeah. But when you do wrong and don't know it, that's the problem, because the Bible teaches me that a man will do wrong so long he'll think he right. When you think you're right and you're wrong, you're in trouble.
Your dad was a preacher. Yeah. I mean, and you are a preacher up there. When you get that microphone in your hands, you're speaking to the congregation. You're talking to your people.
Well, I'm talking to, but I'm not a preacher. I'm just telling what's in my heart, and I believe, and I tell what's true in my heart, what comes out.
How much of that is in your music?
Oh, everything.
Everything.
All of it. And I'm true to myself, and I don't kid myself. And I'm this blues singer. I'm this black blues singer who love what I'm doing and display what I know. And I don't claim to know it all, but I'm smart enough to know I don't know anything. Because when a man tell what he know, he won't talk long, because man don't know nothing.
All right, this new album, original songs?
Yes, all original songs.
Wow.
Yeah, all original songs. I wrote them all, and if you notice, when I was up reciting the song, you know, I'm so blessed. Did you know what I just sit up and recited all that? You know, that's a lot to remember.
Well, you were saying that Jimmy Reed she had to whisper in his ear.
Yeah. You know, I'm so blessed. I'm so blessed.
What should we know about this album? Because I'm going to grab a copy, and I just need to know.
This album is one of the better albums I recorded. This album was hard to record because coming from a Grammy, and you're trying to play to what people perceive you to be, not what they perceive you to be. Because you just come off a Grammy. Now what people perceive me to be.
And what are they expecting?
What they expect.
And what are you expecting?
Well, I expect them to really reach out and grab Bobby Rush. Not think about this Grammy. Just grab for what it is now. Look at this record for what it is. And when I cut the next record, look at that record for what it is. Because I'm always going to try to write good songs and place them at the time of what it is. Because modification is up on us now. We got to deal with the age, the young, the old, the ups, the down, the southern state, the north state, the east, the west. They're all same, but they're yet different. Because when I come to Canada and I look at this audience, I got to read quickly what not to do.
Here's the deal. I was looking at some of your dates down the road. Your Kansas City, your New York City, your Chicago, your blues festivals. You're in the middle of a rainforest here in British Columbia. What's different about you're doing the same stuff, aren't you?
But it's experience. I'm experiencing life, and I'm searching the crowd. And I know last night I had some people probably didn't like the girl because they figured that was raunchy or whatever you want to call it. But that's a part of the black music, the black movement. I'm a black man who love who I am, what I do, and people respect me for what I do and what I'm doing. And I understood before I did it that someone wasn't gonna like that. But this is a black movement. I remember back in the early 50s, race music wasn't something that the white people who played, they saw something different about that and didn't want to do it.
Yep.
It's the same thing today. But we got to understand that we got to forget about chip on your shoulder and deal with right now us being together. You may not like me, you may not like country and western, but whatever you like, to respect it if it did well. That's all what matters. That's all what matters. Just with this thing, I come up in a situation where if you notice and look at me, there's no black and white issue with me. I had no chip on my shoulder.
Yep.
I just told them that my mother was blue-eyed and blonde hair. I don't know nothing about that kind of a thing because my mama protect that side. But daddy being the black man, I had to, but that's my father, protect that side. So what I'm saying to you is that I didn't have to work in the cotton fields chopping cotton for the white man. I worked for my daddy for nothing. Same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. It's the same thing, you know? I mean, God, I'm so blessed. I'm the one that blesses me and you ever saw in your life to have a black audience and a white audience.
What was the
name me a guy got this.
What was the name of the documentary again?
Road to Memphis.
All right, the documentary Road to Memphis. What, I love that. I loved it. I looked at it a lot. What changes did that bring to you in terms of your career?
A lot. It shows that people accept me for who I am. And it showed me that everybody hadn't changed, but a bucket of people understand me better. Last night, I had a couple ladies come to me and said, Bobby Rush, we like you, but we don't like the ladies on the stage.
Okay.
I know where it was coming from. Because these are black ladies on the stage, and to them, it seems like I'm either stroking them downward or playing them too high, or whatever their reason they had. But you got to understand, I'm a black man. This is my root. When black people shoot marble, jump, play, and box, and eat watermelon, you get black people say a lot, I don't want nobody to see me eating watermelon. That looks too black. I had a black man to tell me when I put out Chicken Head, said, Bobby Rush, I could play your record, but it sounds too black. Now I'm hurt in the heart because a black man told me that my record sound too black.
Well, I can't figure that one out.
I can't either. Here's the lady, so I don't like the girl. So you don't like the girl. My mama probably wouldn't like Johnny Cash because it's country western.
Yep.
She like gospel. But that don't mean it's not good. Come on. You know?
I want to ask you a couple of things. I'll let you go. Well, actually, people. I started to write down names of paths you've crossed. How young were you when you were on the same stage or in the same room with Elmore James?
I'll tell it now because I should be put in jail. I was 16 years old trying to get in the club. Supposed to have been 18. 16 years old. Had to paint me some mustache to look old enough to play in the club. Place called the Jittybug. Yeah. Now how I got Elmo James to play for me, I didn't tell this on the stage. In Belzoni, Mississippi, there was a man in Chicago named Lee Robertson who had a club called Lee's Lounge. He was dating this lady in Belzoni, Mississippi. And so I was a friend to him, and I was a friend to Elmo James. So I said, Elmo James, I need to go to Pine Bluff, Arkansas to Jackrabbit and play for this club, and I need you to play for me. He said, well, I got to have $15. $15. Which is $45 Friday, Saturday, $15 a night. I said, I can't pay you. I can pay you $20 for the whole weekend. He said, I can't do it, Bobby. I got to have $15 a night. $15 a night. I said, and by that time, my friend who was getting married to this girl, had a funeral home there called Belt Funeral Home. She walked by, shapely lady. She's about 22 years. He said, Elmo said, wow, who is that woman there? I'd do anything to get some of that. That's what he said, like, talk to this lady. I'd do anything just to talk to her. I walked away. I said, what'd you say? He said, man, I'd do anything just to talk to that woman. I said, maybe I can fix that up for you. Play this gig for me. He said, you fix that up. I play for you free. So I went and talked. Now, this is bad. I went and talked to her to send Elmo James. The meantime, her going-to-be husband was my best friend. So he had this limousine. He took me to the gig in the limousine, but I let him park down the street because I didn't want nobody to see me getting out of the hearse. I didn't want nobody to see me getting out of the hearse, So he took me to the gig. So he said, tomorrow I don't have a funeral. I said, well, you take me to the gig then. So he took me to the gig, and Elmo James stayed at his house. So every other week, Elmo James played for me free. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. That's too cunning, man. I'm sorry about that, but that's what I did. But I got Elmo James to play every other week free. He wanted the $15 a night, but I got him to play free every other week because I hooked him up.
I was just looking, and I'm not going to ask you about all these guys because it would be too long, but I know you love your Bobby Bland, and I know you love your Junior Parker and your Little Walter, but it's Wolf. It's Chester.
Wolf?
That's the one.
Wolf was a solid guy. He once taught me, he said, Bobby Rush, whatever you do, don't let them take advantage of you. He the one drove it to me to own myself. He would use these words, whatever he would say. He said, don't you be like Muddy. They just fall for anything. Be like the wolf. I stand for something. That's what he would tell me. Whatever that was, whatever that he had by Muddy, he said, don't be like that. They fall for anything. And I always watched out for that, And I didn't recognize what he was talking about until the torch was passed to me. When B.B. King, 8 months before he died, he come to me, said, Bobby Rush, I need a favor from you. I said, what is it, B.B.? He said, I need you to work in Enola, Mississippi with me next year, coming up the first of next year. I said, I'm already booked. He said, talk to the man, see can you get out of it. I need you to help me draw my peoples to see me. He said, because I'm not working in Mississippi no more. I said, what you mean? He said, because Bobby Rush, I have crossed over, but black people don't come to see me. But if you on the show with me, black people will come to see me. He said, I want them to see me because it's my last show I'm going to do in Mississippi. Not knowing it's the last show he going to do. Had no idea. I went to Memphis, Tennessee. The guy called Lil D. I said, Lil D, I said, you're paying me 15 grand. I said, but I got $5,000 your money. I said, here, your $5,000 back. I can't work your day. He had his head down. I said, you opened the show up at 4 o'clock. You got me headlining. I comes on at 11. He said, you gonna do this for BB? I said, yes, sir. He sat there, took the money. We sit down talking for a minute. He pushed the money back to me. Not only he pushed the money back, he put another $5,000 on it. It pushed $10,000 to me. He said, now, do it for 10 for me. And I'll let you come on at 4 o'clock in the evening. You still can do the show. I had tears in my eyes because he said that to me. I went did the show for BB. 3 weeks later, I went to Memphis and I got the BB King's Award, not knowing. I got the BB King's Award. When he passed, they had me on BB King's program for his funeral. I was the last man to speak after the preacher. I was the first man to the limousine, to the hearse, to take him to the grave. Didn't think about it, that he passed the torch to me.
But you know now.
And you can go on YouTube and find it.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Last thing. Roebuck, Pop Staples. I asked him the last time I saw him, tell me about your legacy, you and the Staples. And in answering, he started to cry. This tear rolled down his cheek. He said, I don't think I've done enough. I think we could do more. I think we could have done more. What's your legacy?
Wow. I was married to a lady called Hazel Adam. When I got married, her mother and father treated me like a son. She had a sister, 3 sisters, Mary, Ruby, Faye, Ferda. She had 1 brother, half brother, I didn't know well. The kid was 5, 7, and 9 when we got married. They were like my children. Her mother and father were like my mother and father. I moved to Chicago and moved them with me. Then we had 3 children. 18 years later, my daughter passed. 6 months later, her sister passed. 4 months later, her other sister passed. 1 year later, her other sister passed. Then her mother and father passed 2 months apart. Then my last son passed, and she passed. That was all of my life. There was nobody left. I went in '83 myself. Ike Turner, coming from Rock Island, Illinois, when an accident happened with my station wagon. A truck hit me in the back. Another truck hit me in the back. Until 10 trucks hit each other, and all 10 men got burned up. Myself and my drummer was a survivor. I dug a hole in the ground to save myself, keep from freezing. Finally, the sheriff department came, and someone said, "Is anybody else here?" Someone from the sheriff department said, "No, just 2 niggas in the ground. They already buried." And they threw dirt on me, left me there. And I survived the rat race. I went to Martin Luther King to try to have a meeting about what they have done to me. And I parked at 47 Houston Street in Chicago because they wouldn't let Martin Luther King come speak in Cicero, Illinois. I didn't know Martin Luther King, but I was introduced to him through Jesse Jackson. And when I got to Chicago, he was going to speak to my behalf about this situation. I parked in a place where black wasn't supposed to park, on the opposite side of the street. And they ran me out from over there, and they turned my station wagon over and burned it up and used the N-word. And I ran to the bus, to the police station. And the police threw me and my son out the police station and said, "You leave here and take your nigga with you." Talking about Martin Luther King. I have, out of all the things that have happened to me, but the good overshadowed the bad. I have tears when I think about that, but I have a smile when I think about how the white audience have embraced me.
Thank you for your life. Thank you for your words. Thank you for your music.
Thank you for embracing me. Thank you.
The king of the Chitlin Circuit, Bobby Rush. In an interview that he did in Forbes magazine not too long ago with the wonderful writer Margie Goldsmith, she asked him, "What does music mean to you?" Bobby said this: "Everything. Music is a healer. Music is medicine. Music heals the wounds of a lot of things. It's a net to black and white issues, to ups and downs, to mishaps, to the ugly, to the bad. Without music, if you think this world is a mess, without music, it would be a triple mess. Music is the key to everything. Music is like love. The same thing that makes you laugh is the same thing that makes you cry. Bobby Rush, check him out. Next week, we're going to sit down with another legend, the one and only Augie Meyer. This is Mulligan Stew, the podcast, music, film, food, and wine. Thank you for subscribing and listening.